Welcome to Seen and Heard podcast, where everyone should be seen and heard. And tonight, I'm joined by my co-host Chrissy, and Charles has popped out, but he'll probably be popping back in. So, hello, Chrissy.
Hello,
Chrissy.
hello.
Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay. I was having some technical difficulties. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna open up here with this video with a little bit of comedy. I'm gonna open up before we get serious. I'm gonna open up with a little comedy here. So
Ask, have you lost your rabbit ass minds? No, not you, the viewer, but some of the bastardized, busybody business owners out there. It's not enough because of inflation. The price of food is high as a giraffe's, well, you know what I mean. But now they expect you and I to tip self-service checkout machines. Where does it stop? Some airports, bakeries, coffee shops, and even now some stadiums have introduced a self-service tipping option. It's so you and I can leave tips on average 20% despite not seeing a damn person who is actually helping us. They have gone too far. Who does this tip even go to? If there isn't a human serving us, that's the questions you should be asking. Hell no, you should say. We all must tell those business owners we won't be pimped like a cheap trick on a Saturday night and find another trick to play.
that was funny. So basically, what they're starting to do is have these kiosks all over the place where they want everybody to tip, like gouging more money for people that are already having trouble paying for stuff.
That's crazy.
Have you seen?
I mean, why would they tip? Why would they tip if you've got if it's automated? I mean, that's just obscene. They're just trying to milk
Just
more money.
greedy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Very much so. Like, hey, you serve yourself and you still pay us a tip.
Right. Right.
Oh, on top of that, the prices of everything went up too. So hey, pay more for the same thing. You serve yourself and give us a tip. Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm with him. I'm like
Yeah. It's all about price
that
gouging.
is like, where's that money going? It's like when they have those little jars at the end of the cash register at the store checkout that they were like, you want to donate an extra dollar or something like that. It's like that adds up.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean that's technically regulated. I mean, I'm not saying that any of those regulations work or anyone's enforcing it, but yeah, I mean, though that's supposed to, it's supposed to be illegal to have a fake charity. But the ones I oppose are like at the
Mhm.
supermarket. It's not like when I was a kid, it was Jerry's Kids. I don't know if you remember, um, but or muscular dystrophy or whatever it is. These days, it's their own nonprofit. It's like, would you like to donate, your change to the Ralph's, Feed the Children fund? It's like, fuck no, that's your responsibility. You gonna milk me? Shit.
Here, this was in the Business Insider, and that this is an article about what he was talking about. Customers are being asked to tip even at self checkout. Some say it's emotional blackmail. Yeah, I mean, where is that going? Where is that money going?
Well, also, you know, people have been posting memes on Facebook for a long time, like don't go to self checkout anyway, because you're basically taking a job away from somebody. That's why I always wait in line for a checker, because you're taking away from someone's job. Um,
Have you seen it?
if they want to move everything to self checkout, then fine, give everybody a minimum wage. I mean, a minimum basic
Right.
income. You know, since jobs are literally disappearing through automation.
And not only that, the people that do have jobs, example, Walmart, they already have jobs and they still have to have subsidized
Food
food
stamps,
stamps.
yeah,
And
that's right. Yeah, these Republicans, these Christians, who are supposedly Christian and whatnot and conservative, they're against things like that. Yet they're on the dole and they're making their workers be on the dole. So, you know, it, when they oppose social services, what they're essentially exposing about themselves is actually it's just about their lack of empathy and their cruelty. It doesn't have anything to do with some sort of disciplined principle that they're against. They just don't want other people to be helped. But when it comes to them, they'll take every subsidy in the book.
Tax breaks for the rich. Like Chrissy and I were just talking. Billionaires, multi-billionaires, and trillionaires should not exist. That does not make any sense to me. They should not exist.
And it's sad that these people pay money for all of these things so that the rich can get richer. Like, for example, these concerts, the tickets are ridiculous. Beyonce and Taylor Swift. And people are willing to basically go bankrupt just to go to the concert. Like, for what?
And that's across the board because I was like, even like just in general, all of the entertainment sector, like even for the K-poppers, like I've been seeing these little girls crying and fussing about uh, BTS. Well, a couple of BTS, they're doing their military service right now, but the K-pop stands, they're complaining about how the labels are gouging them, and they're not being empathetic about putting the price down to for fans to be able to afford it. They don't care. They're like going up, 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 up.
But at the same time, people complain, but they still do it.
That it's just that's a whole nother racket. But yeah, just the Beyonce, Taylor Swift, the K-pop. I mean, how I just don't get how can people I mean, it's none of my business because I'm not trying to be in anybody's wallet anyway. But I mean, a teenager though, I'm thinking a teenager. If they're getting allowance and they don't have jobs, where are they getting this money to get like $20,000 worth of merchandise?
One can only wonder if it's the parents or.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Beyonce's tickets were different prices in the UK compared to here in America or her tour in America.
I didn't even hear that much, but I mean, I don't follow her. I just heard about how the prices were ridiculous, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for TikTok.
Sharon, do you still have the middle screen highlighted?
The middle screen. What for you? What do you mean highlighted?
The article that you were showing us?
Oh, okay. You wanted to pull up that. Okay, hold on. Let's see. So they said, let's see. Customers are being asked to tip even at self checkout. Some say it's emotional blackmail. Tip prompts are becoming more common at digital self checkout kiosks, but customers are unsure where their money is going or whether the prompt is even necessary. The issue highlights a bigger phenomenon, tipping fatigue. Well, isn't there a way to opt out of that when you get to the kiosk? Can you opt out of the tip?
That prompt, I've never seen that prompt come up, but on the screen, it looked like there was an option that said customize.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna customize 0% or $0. Just that simple.
Because I mean, it's
Now
got
I
to be
do
an opt out.
no, that's what I'm saying. I think you probably can skip it, and like I said, if not, then customize $0.
Self checkout machines at cafes, sports stadiums, airports are asked for tips, and customers aren't happy. No, I'm not. No, that's crazy. Um, because a lot of people too that are shopping, they go in with a budget. You have a budget of what you can and cannot spend. So then you're getting this.
Okay, but what they're talking about is when you check out on like an iPad at like a cafe, and it'll ask you for a tip. Restaurants are doing it now, and it comes right up. And you usually do tip at like cafes and restaurants. There are customs related to tipping there, so it does pop up as part of um, the graphics that the computer program brings up.
Well, I mean, I understand in the food service, but I mean, like at an airport or at a market or something like
Yeah,
that.
like this picture here, he's not at a cafe.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like,
Yeah.
a lot of people that are going to the grocery store are going with a set budget. So they're not expecting like a prompt to come up, hey, can you go over your budget and give us extra, you know, that no. That's rude actually. That's actually kind of rude. Let's see. I want to pull up. Oh, so Charles, did you hear the news about Harry and Meghan? I know you're not a royalist. We're not royalists either, but just the news about their accident up there in New York.
No.
It was almost tragic. Let me see here.
I saw something just now that did bother me. I mean, like I didn't read the whole story, but I saw the headline. So of course, I mean, I'm gonna believe the headline, and I'm being from New York. But then what kind of bugged me out was Mayor Adams said that it's hard for him to believe. He didn't say it didn't happen, but what he did say, it was hard for him to, paraphrasing, it was hard for him to believe that that could happen in New York with all this traffic. And in my head, I'm like, why would you even just doubt that? But I mean, I am a New Yorker, so I understand what he's saying at the same time. But like I said, I didn't read the whole story, so I don't know where they were at. I don't know if streets were closed. I don't know the backstory.
Well,
So I don't know.
they went to the article. They were at an award show.
Yeah, which was probably, if it's in New York City, that means it's in Manhattan, which is New York County, which is always congested or primarily always congested.
Okay, so Harry Meghan car chase. Royal family has not contacted the couple. Now that's kind of shitty.
Yeah, that's ridiculous though.
Um, but
But we all know why, because they the one that set it up,
yeah,
my opinion.
let's see here. So they called it a chase, not a high-speed chase. New York Police Department released a statement saying numerous photographers made their transport challenging, adding there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries, or arrests. Police told the ABC News that their engagement with Harry and Meghan lasted no more than 20 minutes at that. If the incident did last 2 hours, it was because Harry and Meghan's security wanted to keep their location safe, having avoided the paparazzi. Paparazzi agency Backgrid USA said it did not condone harassment and would be conducting a thorough investigation into the matter. Yeah, okay. It added the photographers report that one of the four SUVs from Prince Harry's security escort was driving in a manner that could be perceived as reckless. The vehicle was seen blocking off streets, and in one video is shown being pulled over by the police.
Mm.
Buckingham Palace has declined to comment to Yahoo News. That's just, I mean, and this is what happened to. So with this picture right here, this is what happened to his mom in Paris. So I remember reading after this accident that the paparazzi got out after they crashed and they were standing over her and she's laying in the road bleeding. They were standing over her, snapping pictures.
Because they're disgusting, and I mean,
And I remember after when she did finally have the baby in England, um, they were asking him outside of the hospital or something like that. So they were like, "Oh, you're gonna drive her?" He says, "Yes." He says, "I'm the only one I trust with my wife and my child." Like that's what he said. I remember seeing him say that to the reporters outside of the hospital after Megan was getting ready to go home with the baby. He said,
Yeah.
"Yeah." He said, he alluded to the fact that the last woman I cared about wasn't driving or something like that, but I'm the only one I could trust with my family in my hands. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, all this tells me is like he really knows something. He's being really generous by not spilling all the tea because he knows something from behind the scenes that's got him to where, because I notice every picture they're in or video, she's gripping his arm. Like she's smiling, but I'm looking at how she's gripping his arm and how he has a hold of her hand. Like he know there's something going on, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
I mean, like I said, he know who behind it.
mhm,
I mean, I don't got proof, but I know who behind it.
it's so sad. That's so
Can't nobody
sad
tell me
that
can't nobody tell me otherwise. I know who's behind it. Behind his mother and behind his wife. Well, the situation with him and his wife is the same people. And can't nobody tell me otherwise. And
and that
they use the paparazzi as the scapegoat because of their title and their status. So it's easy to assume that the paparazzi caused it. Blah. No, look at all these other celebrities that don't get into these situations with paparazzis.
mhm.
So it's not just the
Especially in New
paparazzi.
York
There's more.
City.
That's what I'm saying. We have celebrities walking the street. Like honestly, um, I'm not a big Kardashian fan, but there are huge fans of the Kardashians.
Right.
There was a picture when Courtney was in New York walking down the street with her famous now husband, but they were just dating at the time, Travis Barker. And they were just walking down the street regular, holding hands, no security seen around them, walking down the street in New York in the city. So, I mean,
The same here in Tennessee. Like I've met several country music stars. Like they just walk around, nobody like, runs up on them or anything like that. And you know what I'm saying? Like the celebrities are freely paparazzi know,
yeah.
there's people that ask for autographs in the normal sense, but it's nothing like what the British media is doing.
And but in this case, that was not British media. So we know who is behind it. The same or a similar situation that caused your mother's demise is trying like happened here.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's no way it's not connected. And the comment, like you said, you were saying British media, but it's not British media, but the British is behind it, and
Right, right.
that's my thought about it.
Well, they had one of the guys like at the award show that they were at. One of the guys that was heckling them in the crowd, he was from England, so they're kind of saying that he was associated with the publishing company or something from England, but they flew him out. So that's another thing, though. They're always trying to let everybody know where their location is.
Hmm.
That's insane. And if something happened to them all at once, those children, it's just I don't even want to think about what the British.
Yeah, but so
Okay.
you had
Charles.
so
Okay. Okay.
you had other videos you did want to play though, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Let me pull up these other. He called me fucker. Okay. Fuck. You tickle me. Okay, let me pull up this video here. Okay, we are going to talk about the. I want to play this video right here before we play the one about the migrants.
So I saw this article about Dianne Feinstein yesterday, and it's very concerning, and I think you should be concerned as well. If you don't know who Dianne Feinstein is, she's a senator from California, and she represents a district that has substantially over 1 million people in it. She's been in office since like 1992, so she's been in the Senate for a very long time. But she's, at this point, she's almost 90 years old. So a couple of things are happening. Her faculties aren't all there. And that's the main thing. But this article that I read yesterday, she had been out of office for over a month with a mystery illness. Nobody really knows what it was. So reporters stopped her and they asked her questions about her ability to perform on the job, things like that. And this was the exchange that they had. Pause to read. But the gist of it is she may not have realized that she had been out of office, which is concerning because she doesn't know where she is. And then when they called her on it, like she got really testy. She was like, and then her aides like carted her off. She's in a wheelchair. She's not mobile anymore. The problem is that people like Dianne Feinstein don't know when to leave office. They don't. And it's bad enough that we have meetings with companies, tech companies, where congressmen and senators have no idea what they're talking about. But we have people in office now that literally don't know where they are. Don't know where they are. And this isn't some new thing either. A friend of mine who works in politics told me that in the 80s, he was on a plane with Strom Thurmond, and Strom Thurmond didn't know where he was. And this was a good 15 years before he decided to retire. They're staying in office, they're taking up space, and they're pushing policies that they won't be around to see. I don't care what party you're in, whatever, but this is crazy.
The state of chaos in the U.S. We have a geriatric government. Thoughts?
I don't know what to say about that.
Remember, Strom Thurmond was the long-term congressman. I think he had set a record. He's a KKK guy who then turned out he had a black daughter. So
Hmm. They're putting us in a predicament here, like he was saying, the laws that they're passing, they're not even going to live to see the final results, and we need younger people in.
Yeah.
I mean, the lack of legislation and the legislation. You see what I'm saying? Like, she is not in a situation where what was there a holdup for judges? They needed her vote for to put through some more judges, some progressive judges, so we could get back on track. And she was holding up the progress. She's stay home. Let somebody younger do the job. 'Cause we
But
got a
also
lot of repairing to do in this country.
and also in the same token though, like when they start getting up there in age like that, I don't know how the process is like to medically clear somebody, or if you see that she's starting to forget things and things of that nature, like there needs to be a process to take them out, you know.
Okay, he's having problems. Charles, he'll be back. He's having problems with his mic. So, on that, we are going to play the next video where what this is about the migrant situation. Rhonda Satan, calling him Rhonda Satan. I'm gonna play this video here. Uh, to give perspective to the listeners and the viewers, earlier today there was a video of a man in Arkansas that overreacted with a migrant. We don't know if she was undocumented or not, but she was a Hispanic worker in the apartment. So he overreacts for a scratch on the wall, which she did not even work for him. He was a subcontractor. This is his reaction for the scratch on the wall.
Leave! No. Get the fuck out of my building right now, you fucking bitch! Bullshit! Alright. It's fucking bullshit! Go ahead, you send that to fucking Michael. You can send that to Michael, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck you.
Brent Hunt.
Okay, that was really upsetting to see. But there's, I'm going to play this next video of a lady that is responding to that and sending out a message to the Hispanic community.
I'm sure you've all seen on your FYP page today that man in Arizona hitting that woman in her face. Whether she is a migrant or she's legally here, I don't know. But I just want to remind all you Latinos who think you're white, because these two young ladies, a picture of them, they have a very light complexion, but they have distinctive Latino features. This action by this white man is how they all think about you. If you Cubans in Miami or all the other Latinos and Hispanics who are lighter than the normal Hispanics and indigenous people think that these white people would not box you upside your head, I'm telling you, you're living in a fantasy world. I know these people. I lived in Arizona for 10 years. They are the most disgusting white people that you can encounter. There is an illness with most of the white people in America where they have no respect for anyone except themselves. So all of you, also the blacks for Trump, so that white guy in Arizona, he'd slap you upside your head too. I don't think you people seem to get it. You don't get it. Dismantling this type of white supremacy and this attitude where a man thinks that he can just haul upon a woman and slap her in her face, and people like Crowder, people like Tucker Carlson, people like these nasty sons of bitches think all of this is okay to be done to a woman, documented or undocumented. I don't think you get it yet.
Yeah.
And she's right. I'm going to pull up this, I'm going to pull a Parker. I'm showing this poll. So, the result of the, like, I'm just curious. I would like, if anybody can answer this question that's watching or listening, and if you're Hispanic, why do I? I'm just curious why most Hispanics vote Republican, and then to see the results of these migrant laws that DeSantis is legislating in Florida, where everybody's leaving, Latinos are leaving the state, these laws affect y'all too. So why vote for these? I have not heard anybody give a good reason that's in the Hispanic community or Latin community that has given a good reason why they still vote for these people.
Yeah. I,
I mean that's right now is a big question because all of us basically are being affected by this. They are directly being affected, yes, but we're all going to be affected because when we go to the grocery store, you know, our wallets are affected as well. And I to not say, you know, a lot of people in the black community are rightfully pointing out our community fought for the rights of immigrants to be in this country. 1964 Civil Rights Act. And there have been attacks that I've been seeing from the Hispanic community against black community the past couple of days for not like trying to join in and band together, you know, blindly to fight against this. And black people are not the ones that are passing these legislations. Black people, first off, are not the ones passing these legislations. So the attacks that I'm seeing coming from the Hispanic community against black people for not blindly joining in to fight this is uncalled for to me.
yeah.
Did you show these attacks?
I could pull that up. Let me pull up this video. So this one lady in particular, I could just do it for this one video. She has been all over uh TikTok. This is the one. Okay, that's not the one. Okay, it's gonna take me just a second. But give me your thoughts on that while I'm pulling up this video here.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the greater Latino community has to address their anti-blackness because it's something that's very deeply seated over the past several centuries in their own societies. And while they perceive themselves to be white in their society, when they come here, they're definitely still seen and treated as, inferior as minorities. And if they don't recognize their own anti-blackness that they've brought from their own societies, then I mean, there's a lot of hypocrisy there. That as they fight for their own rights, at the same time they are acting egregiously. So there was a enormous scandal here in the LA City Council because city council somebody leaked a secretly recorded audio of three prominent um,
Mm.
Hispanic city council members
Mhm.
saying the most atrocious things, using very casually using racial slurs that what what they failed to mention was are very common and casual within the Spanish speaking community in LA and in America and in their own societies back home. Referring to black kids as monkeys and things like that. I mean, it was done very casually. No one batted an eyelash. Didn't even snicker. It was just that's how you talk about these things. And yeah, I think that they need to. And the unfortunate thing was the lady who said it, came out and said, "Oh, I'm resigning." After a ton of pressure, "Oh, I'm resigning. I just want to point out all the achievements I've made as the first Hispanic woman to do this, that, and the other. But I want," and then the real huge misstep was, "I want to make it clear this does not reflect my community. That this was just me." Blah blah blah. And I think that was a huge misstep. That she clearly should have said, um, "I'm sorry I got caught. I don't want to come off as someone who's only sorry because I got caught. So let me take this opportunity to say, to call out my own community and say, let's be real with ourselves. This has been common for us all. We've got a serious, um, we have a come to Jesus moment now, that where, we've got to openly address the fact that yes, there's openly a lot of hostility, animosity, and dislike, and anti-blackness in our societies back home that we've brought here, and that we have not questioned. If we want to truly have solidarity and alliance within, progressive Democratic Party, and within the community, within minorities, we've got to address it. That's what she didn't do, and she said, "Oh, don't let this reflect on blah this and that." So yeah, so this is not being addressed in their society. I mean, most Latino societies are in the 1950s. I mean, you can just be openly, it's very non controversial and non taboo to be very openly anti black in their societies.
And that's one thing that I could give the members of the Asian community. Not, we all still have work to do, but the people that I admire in the Asian community that are doing exactly what you just said, they have been calling out their fellow Asian uh, people that have done shenanigans. They 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 rightfully.
No, I understand, but that it's been a long time that Latinos are doing the same thing. When you talk to radical and leftist and progressive Latinos, they very much do the same thing. They're very much on board with BLM, and here in LA, you had tons of Latinos very vocally pro BLM and holding up BLM as it was very overtly. So there was that, and during BLM, there was a lot of Latinos that came out and said and called all of this exactly out.
Mm.
All the minority communities, when you get down to it, when you look at the progressives, at the leftists, yeah,
Mm.
they're already on board with that. It's what we're talking about now is the larger community having to address this.
Okay, here's the. I'm gonna.
So I can bring someone on if you
Yes,
want that
yes, yes, yes.
that can address that. So.
I'm gonna play this video real quick, and then we're gonna talk on the other side.
I haven't heard from Marco Rubio. I haven't heard from any state legislators. We all.
Miss Melissa, see, the thing is, you're not going to hear from these people. You voted for them. You put them in there. This is kind of your fault. And now, when things get bad, you want to rally the troops. No. I would rather spend my time picking ticks off a dog's ass. You got yourselves into this problem. You, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, you voted for these people because you wanted to be white. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do you? Do you, boo? But stop asking us for help when shit doesn't go the way you think it's going to go because you don't think they're going to include you in their BS. Ask these white women out here about these abortion laws. They didn't think they would be included in that law either. Here we are.
I think that follows the principle that I've long said, that we need to not point the finger at any other community. We need to address our own.
Mm.
So that's why I've always been very vocally opposed to Americans wanting to point the finger at North Korea or Cuba or Venezuela. You need to worry about the horror and destruction that you're doing. Stop worrying about other people because you don't realize that your complaints about, for example, right now, Russia, is just being used by the U.S. empire to justify an illegal invasion of yet another country or society that we've demonized because rightfully they've done awful things. I'm not saying they haven't done it,
Mm.
but it's really not your place to say. It's their responsibility to criticize their own society. Let the Russians complain about, let the activists and peace, pro peace people in Russia complain about it. I don't need to hear your opinions on Putin.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear your opinions about the Democratic and Republican Party. I want to hear your opinions about GE and Raytheon and McDonnell Douglas and how ExxonMobil can decide that our entire military industrial complex is going to go to war to pad their pockets. That's what I want to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear about what you think is wrong with these countries that negative zero. I mean, or negative a million about. I mean, these people have negative amounts of knowledge about these other regions. So
Speaking of calling out like our own, this is Representative Jasmine uh, Coulter, and she did a phenomenal job yesterday in Congress. Just watch this.
We receive reports that there is a staff member who's working for a Republican on this committee who has ties with and supports a white nationalist who has proclaimed himself to be just like Hitler. I don't really know what to say, except for the fact that this is a farce, all right? Because the fact is, we've got an increase in crime all over. If we really want to be real about it, let's talk about it. We're talking about DC right now, but the murder rates in red states like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama have statistically exceeded those in blue states like Illinois, New Mexico, and Michigan every year since 2000. Our Republican colleagues want to talk about keeping DC streets crime-free. They can't even keep the halls of Congress crime-free, because we gonna talk about this, because I got 24 seconds. My freshman colleague has just been indicted on 13 counts, 13 felony counts, right? But have they exhibited any courage to say, you know what, we will disallow this in our body. We will make sure that we expel this individual. They have not. So what I don't want to hear is that they care about crime, because if they did, they would start by cleaning up our own house and mind our own business instead of coming after DC. So thank you so much for your time.
That was DeSantis that she was talking about.
mhm.
Crockett,
Well, and
Jasmine Crockett.
yeah, and George Santos, he's a delusional nut job. They're not, and yeah, that I think you're right. I think this is the principle of keep your own house in order. And here's the thing, though. This is why I keep always going back to the same point: is that it's a trap for us to get. I mean, we do got to call it out, and she did a great job.
Hmm.
But to suspect that somehow these people have any kind of empathy, they care or understand hypocrisy, I think is a fool's errand. They're not going to. They don't care. You look at Justice Thomas, Clarence Thomas, he doesn't care. He doesn't have remorse that he's being caught red-handed doing all sorts of things that are really unethical. He doesn't care. That's why every time one of these Republicans get caught in some sort of sexual crime that they condemned other Democrats for, they don't resign. The Democrats always resign, but they don't. Uh, these are people who do not have that kind of emotional depth. So, yeah, you can point out the blatant hypocrisy, but the entirety of the conservative agenda, the entirety of their entire political imagination is fundamentally hypocritical. Why? Take a look at their version of Christianity. It absolutely, fundamentally, 1-for-1 ratio, 100% flies in the face of every single one of Jesus's teachings. So if that which they most hold dear, and that they get teary-eyed when they talk about it, and that is a disgrace and a shameful lie and a scam and a sham, this deep part of what they hold so sacred is at best a parody of the teachings of Jesus. Okay, then it's nothing to say, oh, your political views are delusional, contradictory, hypocritical, incoherent, nonsense, right?
Well, and the reason that there is no more shame is because they haven't seen any consequences for attacking
Right.
our government. No
Right.
consequence.
There's no
Right. No
accountability. Right.
accountability.
They know they have immunity, right? They know they're going to get away with it scot free.
And it's just going to
So
keep going. Keep going.
you know, it's. I always make this example, but Martin Scorsese, his first movie before he made all the other famous movies, made this movie Mean Streets, and that's where Robert De Niro made his
Mhm.
debut. And unfortunately, it was released when Star Wars was released, so
Mm.
nobody ever saw it. But in that movie, um, he borrows money from his mafia friend, their childhood friends and everything, and and he's like, you know what, you know why, I borrow money from you. He's like, why? He's like, because you're the only fucking molly that'll even lend me money. He's like, I'm a gambling addict. I borrow from every
Mhm.
bookie and loan shark in the city. I don't pay any of them back. Makes you think I'm gonna pay you back. Again, there's no accountability. If you've got somebody who's just a criminally gangster and they do whatever they want, what makes you think they'll stop if
No
in the end, he kills,
accountability.
yeah, there was nothing you could do about De Niro. He's just like, I'm a gangster. I don't care. I'm going to take money and I'm just going to keep stealing. I don't care. You can't make me stop. So that's the way the Republican Party is right now.
Yep.
They will continue to do this. And, they did it once before where they shut down the government, and they're going to do it again. They're doing it again.
Again, the
They
coup is
got away with it
ongoing. The
last
coup
time.
never stopped. It's ongoing
Yeah.
because
And remember that they've recently confirmed. I mean, this has been well known for a long time, but George Bush's dad was part of a coup attempt on FDR because of the New Deal. I mean, these are openly fascist. They were Nazi sympathizers. So this is just a long line of neo-Nazi fascist, criminals. And if we don't sit here and say these Republicans are not just conservatives or they're alt right. We have to correctly understand that they are part of a criminal cabal
they're fascist.
of criminally insane, derelict, deranged, delusional psychopaths. They're sociopaths. And for us to sit here and engage in political debate like Jasmine was doing, I mean, it's nice and clever, and she did a great job. But that's like going up to Robert De Niro and saying, when you borrow money, for your gambling habit, you should pay him back. You think he gives a shit?
Now it was refreshing to see though, seeing her do that because that what she did should have been done like what 2 years ago. They should have started doing
Hmm.
that because Democrats have a messaging problem. She's a Democrat, a new Democrat, a new young Democrat
Hmm.
in Texas.
Yeah.
Democrats have a messaging problem, and they don't have many people like that. So that that should be done all the time because, like you said, the Republicans
No,
are not
yeah.
going to stop because nobody is stopping them.
Yeah, well, and they don't care. Yeah, and this has been a problem for a long time. There was the congressman from Florida for a while that was doing this during the Bush years. I don't remember him, the tall guy. He got voted out a couple times and came back in, but he was somebody that was calling them out during the Obamacare stuff. He was saying, the Republican health plan is die early. You know,
Mhm.
so yeah, and when he came out, everyone was like, "How refreshing!" He's finally calling them out. Yeah, do they have a meshing problem? Yeah, they have this liberal myth that they think that Republicans are somehow um, going to do things like debate the facts, be reasonable, compromise. No, they are willing to shut down the government so that they can throw hissy fits. Meanwhile, they're going to call everyone else snowflakes. This is what criminally insane people are like.
Mhm.
And not only that, they're going to blame this administration when it's
Yes.
their fault. But
Yes.
their cult is going to believe it because
Yep.
the media is going to help amplify their message.
Right. Think of every deranged, sick, a wife beating, alcoholic dad. He's going to do all this kind of wreckage and damage to the family, and then he'll blame everyone
Mm.
else. So again, we understand this. It's like we're a society, adult children of alcoholics. We support. We've got like Stockholm syndrome to these sicko wife beater types, right? Who are brutal, cruel, oppressive, and out of control.
Mhm.
And we sit there and make excuses for them and follow their lead. I think we need some serious psychotherapy as a society.
We do because I for one do not appreciate being put in that situation and how they're trying to gaslight and force us to accept it because I'm not going to accept it. I speaking for myself. I refuse. I'm not going to accept it. I don't care what they say. It adds to my anger of help or helplessness, but I am not going to allow them to gaslight me and say, "Oh well, there's nothing you can do. You're just going to have to deal with it." I'm not. I don't believe that. I am not going to resign myself to believe in that. I just refuse.
Yeah, good.
I
Nor should we.
refuse.
Yeah, and that's why people like Chris Hedges are saying, look, there's no more chance of reform. We just have to rebel. And I agree.
That yeah, we're at that point, and I totally agree with you on that too. Thoughts, Chrissy? You too?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Because
just a
I know Chrissy's like she's in the fold, but she's more of the she's the quiet observer. She's the quiet observer. I'm the disruptor. You and I are disruptors, Charles. That's okay.
I mean, it's like it's hard to speak on in the sense that you have all those followers that I mean, I don't think therapy could even help them, put it that way. Like there's I don't think there's any saving that those masses there.
At
And
this
that's the
point,
problem. And then the Republicans, what they're going to do is they're going to hold out on the with the debt ceiling, on all this other thing because they're trying to get their way. They're not going to get their way, so they're trying to cause havoc so that they can say, "Look, you see, well, Biden, they didn't do this and X, Y, and Z because they don't care about you guys, and they're the one that caused you guys to not get your Social Security or not get this or not get that." You know, that's what they're trying to do,
and that
and
is a tool of fascism.
their masses are going to believe it. And like I said, I don't even think there is a therapist that can save them
But in the
or the
meantime, they're
majority of
causing
them.
us all PTSD. We're all suffering a collective PTSD because of this nonsense.
But they don't care
Yeah,
because they're getting their way. But they
right.
don't
It
care.
does. It.
It's not
I
harming
mean,
them, and they don't care about their followers. They don't care about, you know what I mean? It's all about their pockets and what they're trying to their agenda that they're trying to move. And because it's not moving their way, they're trying to mess everybody else up. They don't care. And a lot of their followers are going to take a hit. And the majority of their followers are going to their pockets are going to hurt. But do you think
yeah,
who you think they're going to blame? Oh well,
right,
Biden, because Biden and President Biden, that's the
right,
people you all believe, that's who you voted for. Meanwhile,
right,
it's not him. You know,
right.
so it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place with them,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
They're beyond. I mean, I remember in 2015 when I witnessed the first couple of those rallies that Mango Mussolini had, and I started rewatching documentaries on like Hitler's rise, and then I was watching like hours of videos of those cult members, especially the cult members that were in California, the Heaven's Gate cult. They made goodbye videos. So I was like watching hours and hours of those videos, and I was like, these people that are going to these rallies remind me of these cult members. And the look in those people's eyes were so they were dark. They were just like it was no soul, but they were smiling while they were telling everybody goodbye. We're getting ready to, go wherever they said they were going to go. Because I remember when that Heaven's Gate cult when they found the bodies and the news crew went in there. I remember them showing them on the news, and their some of their hands were out from under the little purple thing,
yeah. They're Nikes. Remember their
the
Nikes?
Nikes, and the hands were, I remember the hands were puffy and purple. Like the news people were showing their bodies and stuff. But so one of those guys was Nicole Nichols' brother. He was in that Heaven's
Yeah,
Gate.
I don't know who that is.
Nicole
Nicole
Nichols is Aurora from Star Trek. The black lady.
Are you
Her
serious?
brother was in
Really?
Heaven's Gate. He was one of the ones
Oh
that made the
God,
goodbye
that's
video.
sad.
Yep.
Oh God.
But yeah, so they are the Jonestown. I was watching hours of those videos, and I was like, these people are just like these cult people, not trying to be like over emotional or hyperbolic. They are. I think they're worse though, because like y'all were saying, there's no way. The only way we could start to try to defrag them in their brains, Fox News has to go. That is the plug that's keeping these people messed up.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, social
I
media.
agree. I mean, that's a big part of
I
it,
mean,
but
but just social
it
media.
certainly is a huge component of it. But I mean, you know, um, you know, I think you're right that it's primarily just a cult. I think that's more or less correct sociologically speaking,
Hmm.
and that if Nazi Germany and the comparisons you're making with Nazi Germany are not only appropriate but well attested. I mean, this is a something that people have been talking about for quite a while now, at least certainly the Bush era, okay, if not earlier, but by the Bush years, it was, as far as I'm concerned, academically already well established. I mean, you could just do a one for one comparison, and you can see that what where the U.S. is where Nazi Germany was in the 30s.
Mm.
Okay, so there's not a big debate there that we have become more or less a de facto fascist society. In its values and in its practices, etc. Now there is some contestation. There's people like us that are, still criticizing and whatnot. But anyway, the point being is, if Nazi Germany is in fact an appropriate model, then sadly, our only hope now is for a big, gigantic, catastrophic collapse, and that's the only thing that's going to wake them from their madness.
Mhm.
And that's sad that they're going to take all of us down with them.
Yeah.
And that's what's so sad and pathetic about this whole situation is that these people who sit there and accuse everyone else of being a snowflake and oversensitive are the ones that are too cowardly, pathetic, weak, spineless to do some introspection and realize what their what their culpability is in creating the madness and the insanity of the current situation we're stuck in. And that's what's so tragic about the situation is that, minus the Fox Newsification of their entire worldview, if they knew actual facts and, for example, just saw, for example, how badly their lives are as a result of the policies they think they're in favor of. If even just that little component, like, here's how they created your belief system that's been verified and documented, and here's what happens as a direct result of that in terms of how much it's destroyed your life. Uh, Even that piece alone, if that were to get out there, they'd be furious.
Well, you
But
think
yeah,
with
we're very far from that still.
well, I'm hopeful that this situation in Florida, because it's
Yeah,
happening.
maybe.
This is like a Florida. What's happening in Florida with this bill that he just passed is an immediate effect. So maybe that'll be a wake up call because it's spreading fast. The after effects of that is spreading.
Well, you would have thought that about the anti-abortion stuff. I mean, who do you think gets the most abortions? They do. It's poor whites. Okay, they need it the most. And the ill effects of not getting an abortion and being forced to raise a child that you don't want, can't afford, et cetera, uh, perpetuates the cycles of poverty. So yeah, you'd think that the chickens are roosting. They're coming home to roost. And you'd think maybe, so how bad does it have to get? I mean, yeah, I keep thinking, is this the straw that'll break the camel's back? Is this the straw? I mean, at this point, we've got bales of hay and it's not happening. So, yeah, I mean, do we have to crash the entire global ecosystem first? I think so. I think until the majority of human civilization has been swept aside, until a majority of the human population has been exterminated by superbugs, and that the majority of the human population is dying of starvation. I mean, until something extraordinary catastrophic happens, I don't think we're going to sit here and reprioritize and reimagine how humans need to collectively live on this planet. It's sad. I mean, I've been at this for decades, and I thought that the suffering should be enough by now, by now, by now, and it's been decades now. And no,
And you know what? And it kind of goes back to like what Sharon was talking about, how there should be no such thing as billionaires, trillionaires, multi-billionaires, those things. Because especially when you think about a lot of these black artists or people of color, artists that are of color in general, that have this crazy amount of money for a talent that random people on the street have, that can probably
oh
sing
yeah,
better than you or dance better than you, play
oh
ball
yeah,
better than you, play football. You're not the only one, and there are other people who just didn't get found. They just didn't. Nobody found them. Nobody found them in the street to say, "Oh my God, you're amazing," and bring them in. They didn't come across the right person. They didn't have,
yeah.
So like the fact, and to think that a lot of them came from with these poor neighborhoods,
Most of them,
and
most of them,
exactly, the majority of them, most of them have come from these poor neighborhoods, and they do not turn around to do anything to help these neighborhoods.
right?
Not all of them, obviously, but the majority of them. And then they sit there, and you're profiting off of the same community by coming up with all these alcohols. You know they love tequila,
Yeah,
they love gin,
yep,
they love vodka. So what? Oh, my vodka is a big hit, so let me come out with 100 flavors of it, because now everybody's getting all those. Oh, this brandy is good. Now everybody's getting into the liquor business, and their bottles aren't cheap, and they're profiting off of the same people that you were next door neighbors with. And then what are you doing with that money? What are you
Back
doing with
into
the
the
money?
white community.
Why do you need 7 cars? You can't drive them all, and it's not like you do
right.
one a day. You know, the private jet situation. Okay, fine, I get it. You're a celebrity. You don't want to ride commercial. All right, but like 50 cars and this and that. Like, what are you doing to help your community?
Hmm.
The
What are
community
you
that
doing?
helped you get there, get the
Yeah,
money.
and then like you said
Yeah, that
before.
helped you get there. That created the culture that you
Yeah,
exploited to
Mhm.
get there.
yeah,
And Chrissy, you're absolutely right. You see in New York City, I see here in the streets of LA. Every one artist out there, I can go out today on my sidewalk and find 10 homeless people that are significantly more talented. It is
And I'm in
scary.
Nashville. I'm
Some
in,
of these
yeah,
that's
same in
extraordinarily,
Nashville.
yeah,
look
extraordinarily
at the country
impoverished
singers in
people,
Nashville.
and they the way they sing, you're just like, it's shocking how
Exactly.
talented you are.
When you look at
I mean, that's like angelic,
when you
and you
look
have
at
zero
shows
training.
when you look at shows
Yeah,
like The Voice, you look at shows like
yeah,
America's Got
sure,
Talent, you look at shows like American Idol, and you see these same people, and this is not even the homeless, because they can't make it to these stages either.
exactly.
And a lot of these homeless, they have voices too. A lot of them can't
Oh yeah,
sing. You'll sit there and you'll hear them singing into the or the ones in the subway station sitting there for
yep,
a couple of change, throw some change in here,
Mhm.
and they can really, and they blow, and they sound better than half of these garbage
Yep.
yeah.
artists out here. Like
Overproduced.
what? Like what's going on with this rap nonsense? What's going on with this?
It's like mumble now. You can't even
Yeah, and
decipher
then people are going
anything.
crazy over it. I don't get it. I don't get
And
how
that's
society
part
has
of the
gotten so
programming as
brainwashed,
well.
and like
Well, I do like the mumble rap. They have great production values. I'm not saying it takes much intelligence to just mumble a couple things.
I
I'm not
uh, see
saying
you
that
listening to
they've
that.
improved
Do
any
you
kind of
really?
skill set,
You listen?
but it
I
sounds
can see
awesome.
you listening. You listen to that.
I know I'm not saying I listen to it, but when I hear people throw up some of the latest stuff, I can appreciate that it's very catchy.
there's a
The
handful of them.
production values are
There's
insane.
a
They're
handful of
putting a
them
lot
that
of.
their songs and stuff are. However, there is also a lot of production that go into it.
Oh, I know. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. The
yeah,
production
yeah.
value is very
But
impressive.
yeah.
I
and
can't
then
see Charles. Listen to mumble rap.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I'm with you guys. I, when I was young, I wasn't even into the gangster rap because I was much more into the native tongue from New York City, which was like Afrocentric, conscious. I was in. That's my that'll always be my bread and butter. I'll always be Talib Kweli and
mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. But I do have to listen because I want to know what is why is this popular, and I listen to it. I can see it's very catchy.
I'm glad you took one for the team. I can't do it. I'm glad you took one for the team because
Yeah, it
I
would have been
can't.
easier for me to say, "Oh, this is garbage," or they're just mumbling. I got, once you get past that, you realize they are doing something new and unique. Is it impressive? Maybe not, but it's new and unique.
They're doing
I'm
stuff
just picturing you
that
driving around LA bumping some mumble rap in your car.
No,
they're
I only
doing
listen.
stuff
I only
that
listen to
takes
talk
no
radio.
brain cell, and that's why people like it because
Right,
there's no thought into it. So you
right.
just hear the music that can make you
Yeah,
bounce
it's
your head,
lowbrow.
and then that's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's lowbrow.
You
Yeah,
know, that's
it's a
all it
race to
is.
the
I mean,
bottom.
and
Yeah,
but that's sad.
it's the lowest
That's
common
sad.
denominator.
That's
Yeah,
it's sad because it's our children that are really
yeah,
into this crap, and they are the
yeah,
future. They're the
yeah.
ones that they're. You're wondering why there's no young folks in politics because they coming up on this mumbo jumbo crap.
Oh yeah,
They don't have
sure.
the capacity, the brain wherewithal to focus on anything
Yeah,
in politics.
right.
You know
But young people haven't been involved in politics in our entire history. So
that too. I
that
mean, it died down.
that's
Yes,
that's nothing new necessarily. We've always been caught up in frivolous stuff as when we're young. We just we're not engaged. It's sad, but young people are always uh, just not involved and not engaged. It's just it happens year after year after year after year, no
that's why
matter
we
what
need
we
the
do.
what Justin Jones. That was his name. Justin Jones.
Justin Jones and the other guy, I call them
His
Huey
name
and
wasn't
Riley.
Justin
Huey and
either,
Riley
right?
from the Boondocks.
Oh, Huey and Riley.
Yeah, they remind me of Huey and Riley from the Boondocks.
That's why we need them because they're young.
Yes, those men are so impressive. I'm
And
just like
Pearson, Justin Jones, and Justin Pearson.
The two Justins.
Yeah, that's I'm like both of them. Yeah, we need them.
Yeah, the two Justins. Yeah, we need, Miss Feinstein. I mean, you had a long career. It's time
Yeah.
to relax and watch the squirrels in the backyard.
We need the we need the AOCs, although it may be a little
Yeah,
outspoken or whatnot, but we need that because they see what we're saying and they're saying what we see. Like change
right.
needs to happen,
Because a
and
lot of those, like I said, a lot of those politicians have been in office since Jim Crow era. Like, move aside.
yeah,
You've been in office since Crow era, and now Jim Crow laws are coming back. So what's the point of you doing that? You
yeah.
being there? Like everything's rolled back. That we okay. You tried and you failed. There's nothing wrong with failing because I've done that several times too. But it's time to move over with something this important, which deals with our lives in legislation. They need to move and let somebody younger in. That's up in the the new era. Yes, there's something to say about wisdom, but there's also something to say about wisdom to know that it's time for you to go.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like who's going to take their place if the younger generation are not moving up or not
Well, I'm
stepping up.
not just saying pull somebody off the street.
No, no, I
Somebody that
know.
is in the politics. There's people, younger people in politics. Get somebody that's in already there, that's trying to learn the ropes. That's willing to do the work.
Well, they
There's
need to step up. They need those same ones needs like I had this conversation with you. There are a lot of young. Yes, there are a lot of young people in politics in their 40s, 50s, which is young compared to
mm,
other
mm.
people but they're not stepping up the way they should be stepping up.
Now some are trying, like the two Justins, because there was one
Well, yeah,
interview,
no,
one
no.
interview he
That's why I just
did.
said we
He
need
said
the
he
two
got on the
justices.
elevator and a white congressman got on the elevator with him and said, "You don't belong here."
No, no, and that's why I said no, no. That's why I just now said we need them because they don't care what is being said to them.
Hmm.
They stand in their ground, and we need that. But
Yeah,
there are not many. But there are not many like
that's
that.
true. I
That's the
mean, it's
problem.
not, but
And nobody's trying to take over for the older generation. Nobody's trying. Like they may agree with the older generation and some stuff, but they're not sitting here. They're not learning from them, or they're just not willing to come to the forefront yet. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I couldn't imagine what's going on behind the scenes because
yeah,
there's
look,
no way I personally could have gone to work the very next day after the Capitol was attacked with the same people that had people trying to kill
yeah.
me. I just could not go to work the next day with those same people and then call them my friends across the aisle. That's what? What?
I mean, no, and I mean, and when you think about it, when the young ones do step up, like the Justins, the AOCs, the I don't remember the other lady, but like the Muslim lady that they were trying to kick out and do all like they trying to get rid of all the young ones that are coming up front.
Hmm.
That's another problem. When they do speak up, they're not liking it, so they kick them out and they controversy this and da 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 blah 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 blah. Man, this world is doomed.
I'm looking for the asteroid.
This world is doomed.
Please don't say that. We're due.
Huh?
We're due for our next
We
asteroid.
are.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
It's because it's something like every 75 million years we have a major thing,
Hmm.
and the dinosaur one happened I think 65 million years ago. So we're right about at that point where you know, and but in all seriousness, I mean, those are the kinds of things that we should be concerned about. But we're sitting here, talking this about this nonsense. Let's talk about something serious. Let's talk about these unexplained aerial have you heard this? They're calling them UAVs now. Unexplained aerial phenomenon, UAPs.
Tell me. So, did they find some more up there in California?
Well, no, I mean the Navy revealed those videos in 2019,
Right.
and one of them was off the coast of California, and these are these unexplained aerial phenomenon,
I'm
and
tired of all this rebranding. Stop changing names.
yeah,
Stop
no, it's
rebranding
interesting the
things.
rebranding. No, it really is.
What?
It really is. It's like, oh, UFO, we can't use that word, so
Right.
now we're going to call them
Why?
Like,
UAP, and they changed it too. It was something else first, and then they finally settled on UAP. So at any rate, the
yeah,
fighter pilots that witnessed it have come forward now, and they explain it, and what they're explaining is that sure they released the videos from that day, and it was verified on radar, et cetera, et cetera. So we know for sure it wasn't just some sort of weird video glitch. I mean, it was tracked by multiple um, sources, so we know for 100% that everything that we see on that video is 100% real. What these fighter pilots are saying is that they were seeing those every day for
Mm.
like a month straight. So again, let's talk about something real here.
I imagine. I mean, honestly, I imagine. Uh, if they're flying around out there, they're looking at this planet going, no, we don't want to stop there. Let's just keep going. We don't want
Yeah,
to
it's a
stop
hostile
there. That
planet.
place
Yeah, well, I
ghetto.
mean, we've had bumper stickers since the '80s. Beam me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life down here.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
they
Yeah.
this Earth is ghetto. They don't want to stop here.
Well, I mean, I think the problem is let's say there is indeed an intergalactic council,
Mm,
right? Then they're going to make sure that a species like us isn't allowed to leave our planet, because if we colonize another planet, we'll just exterminate everything and take
right,
everything,
right.
like what we did to our own kind, to other living species, to our own planet. So, yeah, they would have a directive to say a virulent parasitic species like humans are not allowed to leave unless either they evolve, fix their culture, or whatever. I mean, I firmly do believe that. I mean, I'd like to think that there's a little bit of wisdom in the universe that species who don't know how to conduct themselves with any minimum level of decency, and these conservatives are exactly you know the kind of species that you just cannot let loose
Nope,
on other
not
people and other
even one.
species, because they will eat their own kind, they will eat their own children. They're just horrible, cowardly, despicable, bottom feeders.
I actually saw a video. I don't have it queued up, but it was a one of those one of those Republican ladies in in a congressional setting, and she was on the mic saying, "I would shoot my own grandkids." What she was talking about before she let
Yeah,
them
if they
do.
were gay.
Yeah, yeah. She was like, I would shoot my own grandkids. Like she up boldly. This was earlier this year, and she just like matter of fact, but like there was a time when people didn't say things like that out in the open. Like she said, I would just kill my own grandkids. Like she's a congressperson, and how people are looking at her thinking that's normal. I'm looking at that video like mortified that she actually said, she told the whole world, I would rather kill my grandkids than to allow them to be gay. Like,
Yeah. Well, look, Bolsonaro, the former head of state in Brazil,
mhm,
openly said that.
yeah.
He said the same thing, that he'd rather his son be dead than be gay. So again, and his popularity went up. So yeah,
Well, I haven't heard from
we,
her
we are
again,
at,
but
at a grotesque low point. I agree, and that's why my proposition. I don't think debate, reason, facts.
nope.
I don't think I think that they're just immune to all of it. It's about cruelty.
Mhm.
It's about being delusional. It's about um, me being right on a doctrinal level over every kind of sane consideration or humane consideration. I've been taught a certain orthodox, and I have to stick to that, even if I have to kill my own children with my own hands, and grandchildren. I mean, sure, lots of people would want to kill their children, but usually people have tremendous compassion
Mhm.
for their
She
grandchildren.
said I would kill my own grandkid
Right,
child.
right. And she did that for a reason, because again, lots of people would be like, hell, I'll kill my children for free, but most people are like, I would do anything for my grandchildren.
Yep.
That was
So she's disturbed. Like I said, that she's demonstrating where her true loyalties are.
so like you said, the aliens, not one of those Republicans can escape this planet. Like to go to another planet.
They can't be allowed to leave.
Nope.
They'll be a threat. Yeah.
So they may actually have like uh, I'm thinking about it, like aliens watching the planet to make sure nobody escapes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that these are some of the theories, because, for example, one of the most common phenomenon is the majority of these verified UFO phenomenon are around nuclear missile silos. So you can look it up. There's numerous accounts from the military. Okay, so this is not just some bullshit made up story. These are military accounts of UFOs showing up at a missile silo, and then suddenly all the controls go dead. Things like that. So yeah, they might very well be observing us, saying, "Hey, these guys discovered nuclear technology. That means they have tremendous destructive power. If they're allowed to leave this planet, that may be the death of all of us.
Hmm.
They might destroy the universe."
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I saw, I'm in real life, I saw a UFO, and it was over a decommissioned helicopter base. So I've seen the exact same thing that they showed on the videos. I've seen objects move in that manner. They were seems like they were confirming that this base was decommissioned. I don't know why they would be flying over that base, but they did. And it just took off in a right angle and just disappeared into space within second. I mean, the acceleration is not like the acceleration that we have in our physics.
Hmm.
They were clearly using some sort of gravity type, anti-gravity type technology, because our objects can't we in our physics they can't fly that way, because anything inside would be immediately destroyed. It would tear apart, right? I
Mm.
mean, we don't have that kind of movement in our physics. So, yeah, there's definitely something going on. And don't you think we should be on this? Instead of talking about the war on Christmas, for fuck's sake, fuck Christmas.
Well,
You know?
yeah, but see, and the thing about that is, it's like we try to change the subject, but unfortunately, we have a media that likes to amplify the stupid.
Yeah, but of course it serves our purpose. Maybe we should review uh, the Adam Curtis documentary series. Um, he did it for the BBC. It's a six-part series, and he traces, you know, why the dumbing down of society and the creation of consumerism
Hmm.
was critical for mass mind control in a democratic society. So, um, yeah,
Okay.
it's called the Century of Self.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Uh,
we definitely, let me see.
so maybe we should review that next. So,
Okay. Okay, well, we'll close out this,
okay, thanks.
and
Bye.
well, no, not yet. Wait, don't go yet. Where are you? So, by everybody, thumbs up the video if you like the video. Thumbs up, because that helps boost our video. And like and share and comment. We appreciate you, and we will see you on the next one. Yay!